Hi everyone, welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today we are going to speak about the paper crime prevention, and the model which is we are going to discuss is crime disorder reduction techniques. So let us begin with first the learning outcomes. To make the learners understand the crime and disorder reduction techniques, and to make the learners understand various crime and disorder reduction techniques, to acquaint learners about the crime and disorder followed by the reduction techniques. Now let us discuss with respect to the main the topic that's of crime and disorder reduction techniques. So let us begin with the introduction. Criminology is the body of knowledge regarding crime and delinquency as a social phenomena. As we know very well that this crime is a phenomena, it includes within its scope the process of making laws, breaking laws and reacting to the breaking of laws. These processes are the aspects of the somewhat unified sequence of interaction. Certain actions are regarded as undesirable or defined by the political society as crimes. In spite of this definition, some people persist in the behavior and thus commit crimes. The political society then reacts by punishment, intervention and prevention. This sequence of interactions is the subject matter of criminology. As we have seen, this has been quoted by Edwin S. Sutherland. The process of making laws is being dealt by the elected representative of a country in the assembly by considering the opinion from the experts of the field, which defines both process of breaking laws as well as the process of reaction to it. Those breaking of laws are nothing but the crimes, and reactions are in the form of punishment, along with various preventive measures as well are the subject matter of criminology. Criminology, crime being a social phenomena, it is been evident that it presents in every society from time immemorial. Hence, the crime is part of every society. Similarly, each and every society has its own method of tackling and reduction techniques to those crimes. As society develops, those methods of reduction has also been changed. The discipline of criminology also believes in the prevention is better than cure philosophy. This particular model is dealing with the present day crime and disorder reduction techniques. Crime and disorder reduction techniques can best be implemented only when one can understand thoroughly the social framework in the society, which is very, very important. The social framework in our Indian society includes rural and urban communities, the joint families, communal, class, caste tensions and conflict, religious institution, growth of population, migrant population, demographic changes, police attitude and role. Apart from the fundamental laws and substantive laws, we also have many social and local laws to be implemented along with various national and state commissions dealing with human rights, civil rights, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC and minorities, women and child welfare, child labor, vigilance and many more, to check the different harms, violations and injustice in the society. Under such kind of social framework and situation, maintaining social order through implementing various laws in Indian society is always the toughest task for the criminal justice system. In spite of such complex Indian structure, social structure, our criminal justice system has been making tremendous effort in maintaining law and order, peace and harmony in the society. If you look into the rate of crime per 1 lakh population as per Crime in India report, it would be hardly about 550 per 1 lakh populations. Human behavior is not static. It keeps changing according to the situation. Usually human beings respond to the happenings in his surroundings and respond to them as per the conditioning. Thus, we need to create condensed situation to the law-abiding people and make difficult to the potential offenders through various measures or measures of crime and disorder reduction techniques. Broadly, we have conventional ways of crime and disorder reduction techniques are fundamental, like fundamental laws, Indian Constitution, criminal justice system, which includes police, judicial, prison system. Again, we have substantial laws, Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code, and Indian Evidence Act, and other special and local laws. Different crime and disorder reduction techniques. Although we have conventional way of crime and disorder reduction techniques, the following different crime and disorder reduction techniques can also surely plays a preventive role and may people avoid from the committing crimes in society. Let us begin with conventional therapy techniques. It is one of the modern day technique of crime reduction, where the unemployment potential offenders as well as the individual offenders who have completed their sentences under the law of the land is being given training to indulge in some work rather than indulging in criminal activity of the sake of money. Occupational therapy is one of the only professional that help people across the lifespan to do things they want and need to through the therapeutic use daily activities. In their daily occupational therapy, practitioners have a holistic perspective in which the focus is on adapting the environmental and the task for the fit person to lead the normal life. Next one is occasional training in prison. It is a form of modern day technique where an offender is assigned some special work within the prison with the aim that convicts can use it in their future once they will be able to be free from prison. Those works are farming, horticulture, and tailoring, etc. Vocational training is an education only in the type of trade a person wants to pursue, foregoing tradition, academic, as well as for reforming criminals. Vocational training program also allows convicts to get ready for specialized career. Studies have proved that inmates who make vocational training are more likely to find a job after their release from the prison. When an inmate is released from prison, employment is a critical factor as to whether he or she becomes a law-abiding citizen or commits more crimes. Up to 89% of these who return from prisons are unemployed. It has been mentioned by Kimmett in 2011. Vocational training provides individuals with the skills and knowledge needed to find and keep a job for their better rehabilitation, reintegration, and resocialization. Now, next one is counseling techniques. Counseling literally meaning advice. Counseling is a part of psychotherapy and Freudian psychoanalysis. Earlier, counseling was a branch of clinical psychology and was only used to ease mental illness. But today, its use and applications has been very widespread, very vast, and more specialized. Counseling is a relationship between the counselor and the counselee, or the counselor and the client, characterized by trust and openness in an individual or small groups relationship. Here, the client is helped to work through his or her interpersonal problems, emotions, crises, blockings, or guilt feelings. Today, the more common areas of the counselings are school counseling, vocational counselings, career counselings, interview counselings, workplace counselings, marriage counselings, health counselings, family and material counselings, counseling for particularly delinquent and criminals, and most importantly, counseling for mentally depressed persons. Delinquents and criminals are said to be mentally sick persons who show deviant behavior due to social, environmental, psychological causes. Being incapable of reacting in a normal way to provocations, frustrations, and happenings of day-to-day life, they react in a maladaptive manner. Criminals may also be normal individuals, since all criminals may not be mentally sick after being branded as a criminals for his antisocial and illegal activities. He feels terribly depressed and dejected. Now, fourth one is, let us discuss with play therapy techniques. It is a form of behavior correctional techniques usually concerned for the child behavior, which we can apply to the juvenile delinquents. Play therapy is a form of counseling or psychotherapy that uses to play to communicate with the help people, especially children, to prevent or to resolve psychological challenges. This is thought to help them towards their better social intellectual growth and development. Emotional modulation, trauma resolution, play therapy can also be used as tools of diagnosis. A play therapist observes a client playing with toys, playhouses, pets, dolls, etc., to determine the causes of the disturbed behavior. The object and the pattern of play, as well as the willingness to interact with the therapist, can be used to understand the underlying rationale for behavior both inside and outside of therapy session. Caution, however, should be taken when using play therapy for assessment and or diagnostic purpose to lead to positive treatment outcome. The fifth one is now psychodrama techniques. Psychodrama technique is an action method often used as psychotherapy, in which clients use to spontaneous dramatization, role playing, and dramatic self presentation to investigate and gain insight into their lives. Developed by Jacob L. Moreno, psychodrama includes elements of theater, often conducted on a stage or a space that serves as a stage area where props can be used. Participants then have the opportunity to evaluate their behavior, reflect on the past incidents getting played out in the present, and more deeply understand a particular situation in their lives. Psychodrama techniques offer a creative way for an individual or group to explore slow personal problems. In psychodrama, participants explore internal conflicts by acting out their emotions and interpersonal interactions on stage. The sixth one is gated communities system in its modern form. A gated community, walled community system, is a form of residential community or housing state containing strictly controlled entrances for pedestrian, bicycles, automobiles, often characterized by the closed perimeter of walls and fences. Gated communities usually consist of small residential streets and include various shared amenities. Some gated communities, usually called guard-gated communities, are staffed by private security guards and are often home to high-value properties and are set up as retirement villages. Some gated communities are secure enough to resemble fortresses and are intended to such. Amenities available in the gated communities depend on number of factors, including geographical location, demographic composition, community structure, and community fees collected. When there are sub-associations that belong to master associations, the master associations may provide many of the amenities. In general, the larger the association, the more amenities that can be provided. Amenities also depend on the type of the housing. This kind of gated communities can successfully prevent all sorts of threats and crimes from outside and from within. But these gated communities system should not be limited to only one particular type of caste, religion, or category people. These facilities should be provided available for all the irrespective of caste, creed, color, and region. Now, the most important seventh aspect is closed circuit television, CCTV technique. CCTV, also known as video surveillance, is the use of video cameras to transmit a signal to a specific place and can be usually monitored sitting in the small room. Surveillance of the public using CCTV is common technique everywhere today. The use of body-owned video cameras has been introduced as innovative form of surveillance, often used in law enforcement, with cameras located on a police officer's chest or head. Although video surveillance has generated significant debate about balancing its use with individuals' right to privacy, but still this technique is being used extensively as a preventive measure. A CCTV system is not a physical barrier. It does not limit access to certain areas, however, make an object harder to steal or person more difficult to assault and rob. It is highly situational and, as will be shown, does not have some crimes prevention capacity in right situation. Although CCTV has many functions, the primary preventive measure utility is to trigger a perceptual mechanism in a potential offender. The potential offender, by seeing the CCTV, changes his mind to commit a crime, else he will be caught. In other words, CCTV aims to increase perceived risk of capture, a factor which, assuming the offender is behaving in a rational or limited rational manner, will be demotivate the potential offenders. And the most important one is the eighth one is the neighborhood watch system. It is one of the best technique to be implemented in the society to check and prevent the crimes before happening. This system has many names and can be used many ways, like block watch, apartment watch, home watch, and the community watch. Neighbor watch programs involve citizens in effort to prevent crime in their neighborhood or community. Citizens remain alert for suspicious activities and report those activities to the police. The most frequent crime targeted is residential burglary, but other offenses can be targeted as well, such as street robberies, car theft, and vandalism. With the cooperation of the people, the laws can better be enforced and can be prevented. If the public become the eyes and ears of the police, then we can prevent several crimes before its commission. Now, the ninth one is community policing technique. Community policing technique is now slowly taking its momentum as one of the best method to check the crimes in the society effectively through police and public partnership in maintaining law and order in society today. John Angel in 1971 coined the term democratic policing to describe community policing. Community policing, simply put, is a new philosophy of policing in which the police departments and the law-abiding citizens work together in creative ways to address the contemporary community problems in the society. There are three primary elements of community policing, which is as follows. Community partnership, which involves forging of partnership between the police and the citizens of an area. Next one is problem solving, which involves identification and redressal of the problems that gives rise to crime and disorder. Organizational transformation, which involves transforming organization to respond to community needs. More effectively, community policing brings the police and public close to understand the problems of each other and help the dealing crime prevention strategies. People have opportunity to decide how police service are to be carried out in the community. It allows them to have greater voice in addressing their concerns and enhances the overall quality of life and their neighborhoods. It recognizes the people's participation, as it is not possible for the police alone to reduce crime and disorder that threatens a society. The most important is crime prevention through environmental designs, that is called as a CPTED. CPTED techniques is a multidisciplinary one approach to deterring criminals' behavior through environmental designs. CPTED strategies rely upon the ability of influence offender decisions that precede criminal acts. Generally speaking, most implementations of CPTED occurs slowly within the urbanization built environment, specifically alerting the physical design of the communities in which humans resides and congregate in order to deter criminal activity is the main goal of CPTED. CPTED principles of design affect elements of built environment ranging from the small scale to the overarching, including building forms of an entire urban neighborhood and the amount of opportunity for eyes on the street. The most important is one of the police beat system. In police beat terminology, the beat is the territory and time that police officer patrols. Beat policing is based on traditional policing, late in 19th century, and utilized the close relationship with the community members within the assigned beat strengthen police effectiveness and encourage cooperative efforts to make a safer community. Beat police typically patrol on foot or bicycle, which provides more interaction between police and community members. Before the advent of the personal radio communications, beats were organized in towns and cities to cover specific areas, usually shown on a map in the police station and given some sort of names or numbers. officers reporting to on duty would be allocated a beat by their sergeant, and sometimes given a card indicating that the officer should be at a particular point at set times, usually half an hour before or 45 minutes apart. The points would usually be telephone kiosks, police pillars or boxes, or perhaps public houses, where it would be possible to phone the officer should be needed to respond to incident. The officer would remain at the point for 5 minutes and then patrol the areas, gradually making his way to the next point. The next one is police patrol system. A police patrol officers or law enforcement officer assigned to monitor specific geographical areas. They move through their areas at regular intervals, looking out for any signs of problems of any kind. They are most commonly encouraged by the public, as their duties include responding to calls for services, making arrests, resolving disputes, taking crime reports, and conducting traffic enforcement and other crime prevention measures. A patrol officer is often the first to arrive on the scene of any incident or a crime. What such an officer does, fails to do at the scene of crime can greatly influence the outcome of any subsequent investigation. The patrol officer, as a person who is in the field daily, is often closest to potential crime and may have developed contacts who can provide information. The next one is preventive detention technique. In India, preventive detention techniques can be extended for only 6 months. After 3 months, such a case is brought before the advisory board for review. Preventive detention in India dates from British rule in the early 1800s and continues with such laws as the Defence of India Act 1939 and the Preventive Detention Act 1950. The controversial Maintenance of Internal Security Act was enacted by Indian Parliamentary during Indira Gandhi Prime Ministership in 1971. However, it was amended several times during national emergency during 1995-1997, leading to human rights violations. It was subsequently repealed after Indira Gandhi lost the election in 1977 and the new government took over. Now let us discuss the network of NGOs. Network of NGOs and government agencies to be established to coordinate and assist the police on the various issues of awareness, sensitization and capacity building of the police personnel to accomplish the desired objectives in prevention and detection of crimes. NGOs can also actively participate and help in getting the different government schemes to the needy people in the society. This may include free education, free food, health, other innumerable schemes which may help them to lead a normal life in the society as a good citizen of India. In conclusion, as a suggestion, let me tell you that crime prevention has always been a challenging to any government since the inception of the civilized society. Bringing order in the society only through the penal policies is not possible unless people should be taught and trained the importance of the live and let live, give and take, cooperation and coordination to fulfill their needs legitimately and lawfully without any harm to the fellow being in the society. Similarly, the situation and the atmosphere in the family, school, neighborhood and the peer group has a definite role in the development of the human behavior. Prevention of crime and disorder in the society can successfully be achieved through proper and effective implementation of the government policies, laws, rules and regulations, criminal justice system as well as community-based reduction techniques to maintain law and order against the crime and disorder. Only then we can ensure the proper safety and security, peace and harmony in the society. Thank you very much.